here we are, everybody. What's up? Welcome to Worcestery Council Theater 3000, brought to you by Crafty Kombucha, as always. Bill, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. I'm excited to watch Worcester anoint its next king with no democratic input through a similarly sketchy process to the last one that they tried, and the last time they tried it, it worked perfect. So, why mess up a good thing?
Yeah.
And we'll have 8 more years of Augustus 2.0. That's what we're looking at tonight. The Worcester City Council is looking at an item to appoint Eric Batista, Assistant City Manager, to the City Manager job in an interim capacity, which we all know means that come time for his internship to come up, they're just going to give him the job. And we will have had no say in the matter whatsoever, and the wheels just keep on spinning, baby.
Yeah, it's sick times. We love it.
Yeah,
it's pretty. I got some guff already today for us already pushing back on Batista and
because we're racist, not for any of the reasons I just mentioned.
I haven't. We'll see. I don't know, but the biggest thing I think is that, this is the only say that we have in the matter is to throw grenades from this show, so we're gonna do that.
It's the closest thing to real public input this process is gonna have.
Yeah.
So you know what? He might believe in dinosaurs, he might not. But let's let it fly.
The story is that he doesn't, and that's important for us to talk about.
It is very important for us to talk about that.
Speaking of people that believe in dinosaurs, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's bring in our forever guest, Mr. Brendan Melican, everybody.
What's happening, gentlemen?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I do believe in dinosaurs. I don't believe in salamanders, though.
No?
I draw the line on salamanders.
That's fair. They are kind of bullshit.
They are.
Them and newts.
They just,
What's the difference?
How the hell am I supposed to know? What kind of show is this? Did you guys actually look at the agenda tonight?
I did, yeah.
So it looks like we're going straight into executive session and then going straight to the Boyan.
Yeah, not a whole lot in the agenda besides the big item, which is Batista, and there is rumors going around that someone's going to hold that until next week, which any city councilor can do for any reason at any time per the rules of the council. But other than that, we got a resolution supporting the Fair Share Amendment. I'm sure if they had nothing else to do, they'd talk about that for 3 hours.
Yep.
And there's a little bit about the ongoing process to redistrict school committees. A couple orders by Christian King on that. And 2 wants to set up a meeting between the finance committee of the school committee and the city council finance committee, which is just the city council, to talk about school finances, which is something that a lot of cities and towns do and Worcester doesn't do.
Why would we?
No, yeah, right. No. Why would we have any communication between the city council and the school
upside
committee?
of that? I'm just noticing in the comments somebody copy pasting Rick Cipro's comment there, and that's the thing that's driving me nuts about this Batista thing. Even the people that are happy if he gets anointed, all it's doing is paving the way for charter change, or at least a charter commission. And that's really bumming me out. Like, I feel like Admiral Akbar is just standing there screaming it's a trap over and over again. And every underhead in Worcester is just, like plowing along. Like, oh, this will be fine.
Yeah. Even we saw Ray Mariano hinting at a charter thing, Tim Murray. And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
In 9 months of interim, whatever that is. Also, Nicole Postela pointed out that there isn't even interim in the city charter.
Love Animorphs.
There is no. Yeah. So all we have is the mechanism for a city manager is if one is fired, contract, comes up, is hit by a nuclear weapon because the city council didn't ban those. It's the only what you do is you have your temporary position. What do they call it? It's my COVID brain is kicking it again now. It's not interim though. It's whatever whatever another word for temporary is, that's what's in the charter. It can only be a city employee.
Fleeting.
But then that city employee can't go on to be the permanent city manager. But they did this with Ed Augustus. They named an interim. He promised everybody he had zero interest in being city manager. I'm only going to be here as long as you need me to be here. And then after an intergalactic search throughout the Federation, the only person they could come up with was Ed Augustus.
And
he wasn't a city employee at the time though, right?
No, and that's why they used the term interim. It doesn't charter. By pulling that one out of their ass, they were able to say, well, this guy's just going to be the perfect placeholder. If they only wanted Eric to be there for the whatever 6 months, a year it might take to find a new person, they would stick to him as a city employee, and then that would absolve him of being able to be long-term.
Right. And Nicole Apostle had a really good piece going back and looking at the last 3 changeovers of city managers. And the last 2 were done in such like flagrantly like crony-ish fashion, like really circumventing the law. But you have to go back to 1993 for the last time there was even a normal exchange of power at the city manager position.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even that normal. So it's like it's really good.
It's a bummer. And I had a conversation with a couple folks today who've been around City Hall long enough to have now been through a couple of these transitions. And thankfully, all of them were able to have like a good laugh at the idea that now we're at the point where you can just look at who's playing what role. So like back in the 90s, it was like Tim Cooney was the guy that was the character that had to be all about Worcester. You needed a local guy who was going to make the developers happy, who's going to make the residents comfortable, whatever. Mm-hmm. And like the only thing that is going to be a surprise tonight or next week is who's going to fit into those existing roles, right? It's like we're rebooting the James Bond franchise. Who's playing Q? And it's going to be a local guy. The developers have to be happy.
Yeah, right. What would we do if the developers weren't happy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe just let them not be happy.
Yeah, is that such a wild idea? But I guess it is. I mean, we never tried it before, so.
I mean, last time the developers weren't happy, the dinosaurs all died.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm not expecting that there's even enough pushback that this doesn't happen the same way it did with Augustus. I think that we're pretty much we're just anointing a new city manager with no process. It would be interesting to really dig into this interim idea. And like, how do they get away with it? Right. Like,
this is one of those weird areas where I feel like the city is creative sometimes, right? Because I think the general tone in Worcester is if something isn't explicitly allowed by a law, it's got to be illegal or wrong. But the reality is that's the opposite of how laws work, right? Like they're prohibit you from doing things. So in this one case, they're kind of right because there's nothing prohibiting them from creating a way to bring in a temporary city manager. They can kind of do it however they want to. Just as if they choose to go the path that's in the charter, well, then it's laid out for them. But they're deciding to go a different route twice in a row.
Yeah. I mean,
listen, guys, I don't mean to stop an important conversation that you guys are having, but there's bigger news going on. Did you guys know that Papa Gino's fired all their delivery drivers and they use DoorDash now? What a bunch of bullshit.
What the fuck?
Papa Gino's is still around?
Hey, man, there's a good Papa Gino's on West Boylston Street, or there was. And then the one time I had to use delivery today, it's an hour after it's supposed to show up.
Papa Gino's in Tatnick Square is a taco joint. I don't know, man. I didn't know we had any left around here.
Yeah, it's such a shame. That was a good Papa Gino's too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought people.
No, that's really a shame. That Papa Gino's is close to my heart, but I didn't know that they were anti-labor like that. And
they apparently are. I think
strident, craven supporters of the gig economy.
Now that we've destroyed Ed Augustus, I think it's time to take down Papa Gino's.
I think so.
That the workers can take it over and bring it back to its former glory.
Yeah.
But you guys are that.
Papa Gino's should be worker owned.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. A pizza collective.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the stream to pop up.
But charter. So opening a charter change would basically not a charter review would just be a vote of the city council. Am I wrong?
There's two paths to do it, right? And that's the easy way. And the city council has always avoided doing that because they didn't want it to look like a power grab. It just, I think it's unanimous. The other way to do it is to have like a supermajority of registered voters in the city, which is a number that's not how many people turn out to vote, but how many register to vote, which is like an impossible number to achieve. So that part, I think, is what Nicole had been referring to. Somebody mentioned in the comments. But there seems to be enough will on the council now that would be the route that would be taken. And then once all is done, it would have to go to a ballot, and you still have to pass a popular vote.
Certainly, like, it's a better use of their time than anything else they've been doing lately. Like, the charter hasn't been looked at for 25, 35 years.
I mean, yeah, it's I'm looking at a copy of the last one here now. I was just looking for the date on it.
Yeah.
And in a way, they're kind of doing our own work, right? Like they're burning city government to the ground on our behest.
Unfortunately, there's really no guiding racist impulse that would really force their hand to change the government this time, like we had back when we went to Plan E with the Irish starting to take power. So like we still have generally the same people in power. So there's no real impulse. There's nothing that's going to really move the needle on this, short of like a bunch of Ghanaians getting control of the Plan E style of government.
Which is totally possible. There's like 35 Ghanaians. Yeah, the numbers are there.
We should absolutely.
That's like historically the only thing that's going to prompt the city council to change the system is in racist backlash to another immigrant group seizing.
Well, one of the things that we have now, though, that we've never had before is this overwhelmingly large group of people who all think that they're going to be the first strong mayor in Worcester since the last reform, and they're all deluded. But
right.
Because the reality is the money that starts flooding in from lobbyists and outside forces. Once
are people already thinking about being the strong mayor?
Yes.
Like who? I haven't seen that actually.
Yeah, there's a couple that have been kind of Wait to see what the conversation around Eric Batista looks like, and I think you'll be able to figure out who is who and who's thinking what. Basically.
Okay, all right, that's a fun game.
Yeah,
that's a really fun game. I don't know if we're going to see that tonight, though. Like I said, it might get held a week.
Yeah,
and then I don't think they can go into an executive session or talk about Joe Petty's item later in the agenda 10A if it gets held. I don't think they can do either. So
yeah.
We're gonna just basically ignore the issue, which is really awesome.
They will still allow for public comment, though, correct?
Yeah. Joe Petty can just say like the item is being held, but I can't stop you from commenting on it since it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Cool. But he'll also probably say something like, if you comment this week, you can't comment next week. But then he'll probably not enforce that. So, yeah,
because he's an affable guy.
Yeah, he's a real retail politician. I'm working on it right now, and it's almost ready for publication. But I had a really nice chat with Robin Kennedy about her bid for the first Senate district, state Senate seat. And that race is going to be interesting. I think that race is going to be closer than people think it is.
It's going to be. I'm fascinated. I'm really fascinated to see how that race develops. Because I think that it's you're taking somebody that has obviously the most name recognition in this area against somebody that not a lot of people know, but I think the dynamics of where their politics differ is going to make it a extremely interesting race.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know Robin Kennedy, but she probably has a stronger Sardaukar of people that are going to be willing to put the work into her campaign than Petty does. So that's not for nothing, and she's worked on a lot of campaigns and has success with campaigns.
How this process goes too, even just dealing with the Eric part of it, could have a lot of bearing on that race as well too. Worcester is one thing, but there's a lot of other towns. And Northborough isn't really. I mean, it's not huge, but it's not a small town. if people start seeing bullshit coming out of Worcester, I don't know, that's supporting the guy who's
in
has
the
bullshit
center,
swirling
in the
around
center of the bullshit.
in the center of
Yeah,
the bullshit.
yeah,
Like, keep that bullshit in Worcester. Don't bring that to our lovely town. Bolton.
yeah. Right.
They haven't gone live yet.
Interesting.
Maybe if anyone can confirm that, any of our
I'll check right now on the. You're using the Facebook, right?
I'm trying to. It hasn't popped up on the Facebook. I'm on the live stream with the City on Demand video, and they're doing the screen.
Well, there was a subcommittee meeting before this.
So maybe it's going long. That just gives us more time to chat, fellers.
So what's the silliest thing you folks have heard regarding Ed's replacement so far?
Well, I heard something about how there might be some fringe beliefs going on here, but can't confirm. Have not been able to confirm whether or not there's any fringe beliefs going on with our new interim city manager. It would be really funny though if we, even if that's true or not, if we ruin the succession, like the planned succession of like a city hall lifer with another city hall lifer by just spouting about dinosaurs.
I mean, to me, that's the thing, is that like whether or not he truly does believe in evolution is kind of ancillary to the idea of the fact that it's a story, the fact that we didn't make it up.
Right.
It's a thing going around, and
for a long time. This is not a new thing.
And there have been issues that it's raised. So
I remember hearing about this back in like 2018.
So I mean, that's ultimately the thing, right? Like, let's assume it's not true. Are you able to effectively pivot around an accusation of denying evolution, right? Like, I feel like that's a reasonable bullet point to put in the job description for a city manager of the second largest city in New England.
You know, it's kind of like you know how video games have like training levels, and there's like a little challenge at the end of the training level before you get out into the main world of the game. It's like for Eric Batista, how does he navigate the very well trod allegation and rumor that he does not believe that dinosaurs existed,
right?
And have that not hang over his head for his entire career.
So and for anybody who's watching who might be slightly, I was raised Catholic, and like I left that behind me a long time ago. But like, if you're like me and slightly squicked out about like discussing people's religious beliefs or whatnot, I think it's important to be able to draw through lines, right? And one of them here is like when we're talking about developers, which we're going to hear about when he's anointed. How many of those developers are involved in the life sciences? Right. And like, what does that look like? What do you have a guy? So what do you do again? Oh, like everything is kind of, were you in fourth grade and learned about evolution? Like, kind of like that. Like, and you get just a blank face on the other side of the room. That's not okay. That's
yeah. And the data we're using for climate change, as somebody in the comments just said, is very similar to the data that backs up the theory of evolution. And I'd like for our city to be good on climate change and not think that's a hoax or anything. And it's not a huge stretch that someone who fuck you, Mo Bergman. I don't think about you at all.
Wow.
But where was I going with this? Evolution, climate change, based on a similar set of science ideas that we should be believing in if we're to bring the city where it needs to go. So it's a legitimate question
to pop up correctly.
Who said it? Slurms McCasey. If evolution is real, why haven't we evolved into a real?
Until
can you guys hear it?
Meeting.
They said they're not allowed to speak on it.
On this, so
he's holding it.
King?
Yeah, could you just repeat what there was some date change? I didn't
this is on the date change was on the executive session. It reads tonight's date, so I just have to change that to April 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And only just if you could clarify, folks can speak on any item on the agenda. Is that correct?
Unless it's held.
That's it.
Correct. But if some people can't speak for next week on it, and they won't, that's the rules of the council. But if
Okay.
that means you can't speak next week, we can suspend the rules because you're here tonight. It was helpful last minute. We can give you that, but I can't allow you to speak next week. Okay. Okay.
In order, if
Master.
the only
What a
opportunity they would have
master
to
of
speak
the
the next week
political
would be
process.
if the rules were suspended again. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Did I confuse everybody?
Yes.
because
Okay. So we are going to go to
Yes, you did actually.
approval of the minutes. There's motions to adopt.
Also,
those in
I
favor?
can't get rid of the
Opposed,
sidebar,
so
so we just
ordered.
get to watch the Facebook
Okay.
comments as well.
That's great. Was there any?
And
Did
next
anyone
is the
catch
person may speak for no
who
more than 2
held it?
minutes.
That's very
on any
important.
item appearing on the agenda.
No.
So that's item.
No one. Yeah. Okay. So that's a
6A.
good question.
So just your name, city
Yeah,
of
we'll have
residence,
to
and
find
item
that out.
number, and you have 2 minutes.
My name is Richard Shea. I reside at 2 Rexham Road in Worcester, a longtime resident
he's my
of
neighbor.
the city. I want to speak on Resolution 11A, Fair Share Amendment. I've provided you with at least, I don't know if I have a right number for all the counselors, but if you didn't get one, I'm sure that copies can be made. Massachusetts voters will have a once-in-a-generation opportunity in 2022 to make sure the public education gets the permanent funding it deserves. The Fair Share Amendment will revise the state constitution, adding 4 percentage points to the tax on an annual income above $1 million. Certainly, if you're making $1 million, you can afford a little bit more. This revenue would be dedicated to quality public education and transportation, services that are vital to the success of our economy and to the common good. Up to $2 billion a year will be dedicated to goals that
Thank you.
help
Great.
our
Thank you
communities,
for that.
Thanks,
such
Pat.
as reducing class sizes in the elementary school, which we all know is what we really need to have more effective teaching and learning, strengthening higher education programs, and cutting student debt. Imagine public schools with the resources and equipment they need to deliver a quality education to all students as the Constitution and our Commonwealth requires, regardless of where they live. Imagine college that is affordable for families of all incomes and all backgrounds. Imagine a Commonwealth where equity prevails and communities of color have the resources they need to address the impacts of a history of systemic
City council
racism.
fit?
Why do we
City
need
council,
FSA,
all right.
the FSA amendment? Our pre-K to 12 schools have not received consistent or adequate funding. Essential programs have been slashed over time, including
Art.
music and art. Our vocational schools, particularly our banner blue ribbon
Oh, Bergman, you got to
vocational
stop
school
posting at
here
Red
in
Metro
Worcester
West like that.
have long wait lists that limit access to students. We need more vocational schools. Wraparound services, the
Nice.
number of
great
adjustment and
guy.
guidance counselors and school psychologists are woefully inadequate to meet the growing needs
guess I
of the
won't
student population,
TP his
particularly
house on
during this time
Halloween
of the
then.
pandemic. Prosperity is spread unevenly across the state, and the needs of working families are not addressed because the wealthiest among us
Can you
are
wrap
not
up,
paying their fair share.
can you wrap up your comments, Mr. Shea?
From state university, public
Jedi
colleges
mind
are
tricked him.
underfunded and increasingly unaffordable. On average, students graduate from state universities in Massachusetts with a debt of $30,000 or more. Now, some people say APA funding provides a lot of money. That is a one-shot deal. That money is only to address the additional expenses as a result of the pandemic. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, the Student Opportunity Act was passed by the legislature, but that was a catch-up. Their own commission said that they were underfunding public education by over $1 billion.
Mr. Shea, can you wrap up your comments, please?
Last one.
Did it again.
Many of our
Beautiful.
educational support professionals
Oh,
in our schools
Keep it on
are
Red
not
Metro
even
West,
paid
dude.
a living wage. It's disgraceful. They have to have an associate's degree in order to work. But how do they pay for it? It's beyond me how they can pay for it. So I would appreciate and urge you to vote for this fair share resolution. It is very, very important for the welfare of our Commonwealth.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Booyah.
Who even is Red Metro West? Who is that guy?
Is this your name, city of residence, item number?
Does anyone know?
Bergman, isn't it?
Idella Hazard, City of Worcester. I want to totally agree with everything that the gentleman before.
Idela's been
not-
locked
I
in
don't-
But
the
he raised
vestibule coming into City Hall for
a
4 weeks
question
now. That's
about
why
the
she's been at
local
every meeting.
schools here in Worcester.
Mo Bergman, I don't
The
like
inner
this bit.
city
You know that's not
schools.
my name.
Talk about
Again,
systematic racism.
you know what I've done to people.
The
Guess
inner
what? It
city
was over
schools,
them spelling my name wrong.
social economic, they're way behind. And with the social economic.
Ladies have been doing
that
fake
is
news
where
since
the
we let them into the
racism
Worcester
comes
Club.
from.
Look at Harriet
Everybody had a
Chandler.
white flight,
Oh,
Their whole
did,
career
hey,
is
did you
fake.
guys
In
get
the
your
inner city.
invites?
which left our inner city schools.
No, but I
Basically,
cannot wait till I can publicly say what
70%
is going to happen on
or
May
so
2nd.
higher with minorities.
So many people are going to be so fucking
Nobody
mad.
wants to teach in those schools. In fact,
Once
they
we get
did
into the
move
Worcester
those
Club, they're going to start
schools.
serving
But
craft tea kombucha.
I was going to speak on 10B.
The only thing we'll
but
drink.
I'll speak on that next week. But 10H.
Travis, what the
we
hell? I
ran
thought you were
out
on
of time, the
vacation.
deadline.
Travis, I
for the
implore
school
you,
committee
log the fuck
to
off
pass the
and
drawing
enjoy your
of
vacation.
district
Yeah,
lines so that we
we're
could
barely
have
getting through this without you. I don't know how to turn on closed
fair
captioning on this
voting
goddamn thing. It's fine.
so
We're
that
doing fine.
minority districts could have a chance to vote
So you know what?
more.
I'm here for it.
equitably. I see that Councilor King is going to ask to have the law department redraw the school committee district lines and we can start over. I think that's fantastic. We have to do something. This city is
I love the
lagging
conservative line of
behind.
being like,
They're
they
dragging
actually
their
dig for
feet.
facts, where it's just like, they just shill for rich people
It's
more
about
effectively
time
and
we
are a
pick
little
up our
meaner
feet
about
and
it.
catch up with what's going
like,
on in this city.
Yeah, cool.
We have such a large population of minorities. They do own property. They do pay taxes. They do spend their money in Worcester. They do own businesses. Check these trucks with the construction company names on them.
There's no settings.
It's about time
We can all agree.
that we paid them.
Yeah, I
back,
don't see any settings, so
that we start educating their kids.
Travis has some secret
fairly.
formula he uses to hack Facebook
We
to get closed
start giving
captioning so that
them
we
a
can't ever
chance
you
get
know
rid
what?
of
vote
it.
This is just how
for
we
their
demonstrate
schools,
Travis's worth to Jack Murray.
districts,
It's true.
fairly, that
Yeah.
we give them a chance.
Sorry, Jack.
get
The leech
Sorry?
is
school
good.
committee members on representing their population.
Jack, I think Jack
have
maybe
to
is
do
banned
something.
from the stream, so he
We
may
have
never
to
see this.
educate them. If they're not educated at
Whoops.
the lower level, how
Sorry,
are they
dude.
going
Could have just
I
been
was-
chill.
to
Yeah.
with higher education?
Can you wrap up your comments? Too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nope.
Do the-
She doesn't know
do
it.
the thing.
300 years of systemic
All right,
systemic
Oh, there you go. You got it.
racism. Why did they fall behind? Because they weren't allowed to be educated. Now we have to give them the
Okay.
chance to be educated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Anybody else here tonight? Seeing, go ahead,
Oh.
sir. Just your name.
Point
say your residence, and
counterpoint.
item number.
Every week we got point counterpoint. We got that guy, that
My
girl,
name is
this
Carl
guy.
Goldstein, live in Worcester.
Oh, never mind.
Carl
This is a different
commented
guy.
on, item 8C.
He just
Full
looks so much
disclosure,
like him from behind.
I own 1122 Pleasant Street, which is where the Charlotte Client Dance Center resides. This talks about 1124 to 1126. The dance studio rents space at 1124 for one small unit of the studio. I'm also a father who's been going to the studio for 40 years. That's a curse. And now I'm a grandfather who brings two of his grandchildren.
What
to
is
the
going
dance
on
studio.
here?
And furthermore, my daughter
One-
owns the dance studio. So I have a lot of
112
vested
Pleasant
interest
Street.
in this.
Are we going to be
I
down?
have seen,
Are we going to be
children
discussing
walk across the
children's
street from the
ballet
parking lot that
this
we
week?
rent for the studio, and dangerously,
Oh,
these kids start at 3:00 in the afternoon and go to 9
Attell
o'clock at night.
asked for a
And right now, there are
crosswalk
crosswalks further
at
down
the
the
Charlotte
road.
Klein
But
Dance
to get to
Center.
those crosswalks, you have to pass through a gas station that where cars are coming
So
in
this
and out.
guy's just making
And you have to
sure
cross over
we get
Lower
that goddamn
Street to
crosswalk.
get to the crosswalks.
Which, you know what?
that
I
will
say,
then bring them
just paint it
from down
yourself.
the street up, and back forward up to the studio. And at night,
Yeah,
this is
be a
how
little
the
enterprising.
children
Yeah.
go to
Who's
Don't
to
bother in
stop
hell with
you?
this shit.
to rehearsals and things of that nature.
Any
Very
good
dangerous. I've
DPW
seen
guys just gonna be
children
like, "Oh,
almost
thanks."
Get hit.
You know?
I walk with a cane.
Something
I've
we don't have
almost
to
gotten
do.
hit.
That's great.
That would have been.
They were at
pretty
lunch
bad.
anyways.
And
Yeah.
the reality is, it's just unconscionable that we don't have a crosswalk between.
You
the
want a
parking
crosswalk?
lot
You can put a
and the
crosswalk
studio
anywhere. It's
when
not
the
illegal.
dangerous.
You can
There's over
endanger
250
yourself on the
children
road.
that attend the school during the week at all times of the day, and it really would be wonderful if we could actually allow this crosswalk to be placed in that position. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My daughter went there too. It's a great school. So.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
great.
what a
So
retail
that will be going
politician.
to
Look at this
traffic
guy.
and parking for a hearing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just like everybody that's ever been in
Jewel.
Worcester.
So, Mr. Mayor, we do have a
And
few
we're
folks
all
on
on
the
the
virtual
same
platform.
page.
If you're joining via the Zoom platform, I'm going to ask anybody on the phone can please
I
press
made
star
Oh,
nine,
we're
Art,
one ahead.
in
We're
order
one ahead
to,
on viewers on the
be
Facebook
recognized,
stream now.
as well as
I
if you're on
may
a
be
device,
part
just
of the
raise your
cabal
hand
that
so we
makes
can
every
recognize you.
significant decision for this
So,
city
we'll
in
start with
secret
the
months before it
first two
happens.
calling users.
But we go to the same dance studio
So the first calling
and we
user
have
I
the same
have is
daughters.
Nick Cantrell. I'm going to try unmute Nick now.
Nick Cantrell.
Me, Tim Murray, Jim McGovern, and Ed Augustus are the same as anybody
Mr.
else.
Cantrell, you've been
Hey,
unmuted.
we could get crosswalks done now. We're in the inner circle.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I still can't get over
Not hearing from Mr. Cantrell. We're going to move to
the
Jerry
inner circle
Tondo.
thing. Oh yeah. Jim McGovern, Tim
I'm
Murray,
here.
Ed
Nick
Augustus,
Cantrell's here.
Michael Angelini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're the same.
Okay,
Is
so we'll
that
start with Nick Control,
the
then
same
move
amount
on
of
to
power
Jerry
and
Tondo.
control?
So Mr. Tondo, if you can please hold on
What a
until we
ridiculous
get to Mr.
thing.
Control. Try Mr. Control.
Sorry about that.
Same
Can we get
circle.
on it? I don't think we-
Whoa, Joe Penny blown away that
Mr.
his
Condo,
daughter
we're
went to
gonna
one
go
of
with
3 dance studios in the city.
Mr. Control, go ahead.
Mr. Control,
went to
what's your name, your residence and item number?
Same one.
Yes, my name's Nick Cantrell. I'm a resident of Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm a resident at 18 Kenilworth Road. And I'm calling regarding item 8C.
Baby, Nick's forever.
I also would like to see a crosswalk
Stop walking away from
At
your
the
speakerphone,
intersection
Nick
there.
Cantrell.
for.
Yeah, how'd that go last night while we're talking about crosswalks?
What a lazy call-in this is.
We had 45 comics on.
Oh, that's sick. Wow.
God, anybody, I don't know if anybody
Mr.
watching this
Cantrell,
is
speak right into the phone. I think we're losing you a
there,
little
but
bit.
thank you so much for coming out and sticking around through 45 comedians. It was absolute insanity.
That's awesome.
There was full nudity on stage.
Luckily,
Oh, I saw that. That was Eric, right?
only grazed, and she only had a couple
Yeah.
of.
Dude, that kid is
bruises and
so
scrapes.
funny.
He's
Eric,
worried
Eric
that
Franco,
there is,
the bit he did at the last hot
significant
dog safari
danger
eating contest was the
for all
funniest
the
thing I've ever
families.
seen in my life.
And I really
I
hope that-
almost
Working at night as well.
puked cleaning up all that ketchup
Thank you.
that he left there.
Thank you. Next week.
Eric is
Thank you,
amazing.
Mr.
It was an
Mayor.
amazing
Next,
night.
speaker to identify is the
Very
phone
sad
number
to see it end, but
508-410-1990.
it was a good send off.
I'm going to try to unmute you now.
Thank you to everybody. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, Sean Courtney
If
is
you're on the
just
phone,
one of the
press
best
*6 so we
people
can
on the
hear you
planet.
and be unmuted.
He's getting a raw deal out of this whole thing.
Hi there.
And we tried to do this
Go
last
ahead.
night as well.
My name is
Venmo him
Tracy
some money.
O'Rourke.
You're not going to have an
I,
opportunity to tip
reside
him
at
in
118
person anymore.
Copperfield Road.
Send him a
And I'm
virtual
calling to
tip.
speak on behalf of
That's his
8C,
Venmo right there at the bottom of the screen.
crosswalk at Charlotte
Take
Klein
care of the
Dance
guy because he
Studio.
fucking rules, and I love him so much. So,
Okay, go ahead.
So what's going on now
As
with
I said,
Nick's?
I am a
And
resident
yes,
of the
I
neighborhood
back
of
Sean
the
too.
Charlotte Klein Dance
He's great.
Studio.
Always love
So-
going down
As
there. and
well,
talking to him.
I am
We're
the
still talking
caregiver
crosswalks.
of
You guys
4
are missing some of
children
the most amazing, the most
providing
compelling
transportation
city
to the dance
council
studio
in Worcester
twice a
history.
week.
This is.
And
excuse
I mean, I
I'm
love Sean
sorry.
too.
are
Give him all
always
your
in the
money, but
evenings
seriously,
between
listen to this
4 and
shit.
6, which is a very dark area. And so due to the noticeable high volume of the pedestrian traffic to Charlotte Klein, I just kindly request that a properly
This is too much
designed
talk about
lighted
this.
crosswalk to be installed due
Are you-
to the
if
time frame
anyone who
of
is speaking
much of
tonight
the
on this issue,
transportation
I
to
live
the
right
dance
down the street.
studio,
Tell me what color
I
you
feel
want
it
it
is
to be,
necessary for the
and we'll have it done by
the
tomorrow
safety
morning.
for all the pedestrians utilizing the crossing area, as well as other local businesses next door to the dance studio. It would be greatly appreciated, especially in such a high-growing community.
That is true. That is an Amazing point.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker identified as Tara Ochranel.
Somebody probably kept bothering her about this, and she just was like, "Okay, I'll get 20
Hi,
people to call in."
My friend was trying to speak, Jerry Kondo. You guys skipped over him. So
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Okay, just your name, city your residence, and item number.
Oh, Tara Laterno.
Okay, residence.
I don't
You
know
are
the
silencing my
What's the
friend
residence?
Jerry on this
What's
very
the-
important crosswalk issue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we lost us.
I think we lost
speaker
them.
identifies
He
Austin.
dumped them.
Chegwin.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to unmute Austin now.
Unbelievable.
Dude, I can't wait for the Facebook post after this. It was like, I was silenced by the mayor.
Mr.
He
Chegwin.
refused to allow me to speak out about this crosswalk.
Okay.
So I mean, I do get crosswalks. The reason they don't have a crosswalk there is because that's 122 coming out of Paxton. It's 5 lanes in front of the dance studio, and it's coming off a state highway that's coming off of an already long red and green light.
If you like to participate,
So you put a crosswalk in the middle of it. You're like, it's just like the Bill Eddy Memorial traffic light further up on Moreland Street.
that
Like all it
concludes
ends up
what I
doing
have
is
on the
fucking
line.
up your normal traffic flow that the state spends a lot of money on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
right.
your
right.
name, city your residence, and item number.
Build them a bridge is what I'm saying.
Dali Dahasha, 11A.
Pedestrian bridge, we love that.
resident.
We're
Having
owed a
Mr. Mayor, through
bridge.
you to the
Mhm.
members.
Skybridge.
My name is
Let's
Dali
go.
Yeah.
Dahash, and I became a Worcester member resident about 3 months ago. This is the city I've chosen to raise my 3 children. As a parent, I can tell you that my number one goal is to ensure that they have everything needed to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. As a collective, we have what it takes to ensure our children have access to quality education and basic needs. My children are still acclimating themselves to the city. And the other day, as I'm walking home from the bus stop,
Is this a
my
crosswalk?
son said, and I quote, "Mommy, Worcester's not good with sidewalks. Are you going to start a campaign to change that?" That was a joyful moment because it was a reminder that our children still believe in us, which means that
So it is
we
about
have
pedestrian
time
safety,
to prove to them that
but
we are
not
capable
technically
of being
square
bold in
pedestrian
our
safety.
approach
So
to
chances
address
are
the
nobody
ills of our
cares.
society. The Fair Share Amendment will allow Massachusetts to make long-term investment in transportation and public education without asking working and middle-class families to pay more. The proposed amendment to the Massachusetts Constitution would create an additional tax of 4 percentage points on the portion of a person's annual income above $1 million. We as advocates are often asked, where's the money going to come for X, Y, and Z? Well, my understanding is that the revenue generated by the tax would be $2 billion a year that could be spent on quality education and affordable public schools and repair of the roads and public transportation. As a new Worcester resident,
I don't know if anybody
I
saw
know
that
Worcester can use
story
the
in the
money for
Boston
roads.
Globe
At
about
times, I'm not
how
sure my car is going to make it out of the potholes.
online sports
My son
betting
is in
is
middle
being held up
school.
in
He was
Massachusetts by
diagnosed with
just like a
depression
few
in elementary
progressives
school,
in the
and it
Senate.
was a
Really?
real struggle
Yeah,
to
it's
get
really
him
good.
the
I'll
service
I'll
that he
find
needed.
it, but
I needed
that's
to
going to
pay
be a really
out of
good question to
pocket
ask Joe
for
Petty.
his counseling service
You're
until
like,
the school had
how do you
services
feel
available.
about online
I could
sports
afford to
gambling?
pay, and I'm grateful for that.
And
that
like
was
watch him
such a
squirm to
thing.
answer
Now
that one.
imagine,
I'll be like,
during the
I've never thought
pandemic, with
about
the
that
wave of
once in my
ongoing
life. But,
pandemic, now more than ever, students need smaller classes and social emotional support. All under the weight of the pandemic, the needs
that's
of
how
our
I hang
public
his
schools
campaign
became
up.
more
Just
evident,
get him to
raised
say
our
the
picture.
dumbest fucking
In
thing
fact,
about
the
sports
handful
betting.
of billionaires in mass saw their wealth increase by a
I make
total
all
of
my bets through a
17.2
guy at
billion
my
during the
daughter's
first
Charlotte
7
Klein
months
dance
of the
class.
pandemic. If you ask me, Massachusetts' economy is working great for those at the top. In closing remarks, I would
Hell
say
yeah.
that since Sunday during the Oscars
true.
unfortunate event,
Oh
Ooh,
my God.
we
We
have
got the
been
little
constantly
slap
reminded
mention.
that violence in all its form is destructive and it must be rejected.
Please.
Poverty is violence. Under-resourced school is a form of violence against our children. And if indeed violence in all its form must be rejected, we need fair share amendment
you.
for Massachusetts.
Thank you.
listen,
All
I
right.
agree
All
with
right.
that.
Close that portion.
All right. Yeah.
I love working that in.
I was.
Uh,
I
Did
Also-
I
got
miss
really.
that? Was there actually an Academy Award reference there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It made
Holy
me real.
shit.
It made
I
me
looked
real
at my phone for
tired.
1 second.
I got real tired as soon as she brought up the slap, but she brought me right back to life.
Yeah.
Being like,
Yeah.
if we're gonna care about that kind of violence, we
Just
got to
make
care
an
about the
amendment
violence
to
of
8P.
poverty.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
true.
sorry. I'm in the wrong one. I apologize.
Also, I do, for anyone else that was at the open mic last night, I again want to apologize for slapping Sean in the face. It wasn't cool. Violence in any form is not acceptable. and
Chairman, if I could
I
potentially
Hell
make
I
yes, it is,
apologize.
Noah.
It's not me,
Model
and I need to
legislation
apologize to Nix
If
as
I could
well.
make 2 amendments to it, I
I've brought
understand
shame
that
to this great.
previously Mass
There's
DOT had
you
already
know what?
discussed this
There's a
issue.
reason why Sean's
We
not in the
would like
chat
to get a
tonight.
report back on what the history
And it's
was,
not because
as
he's
well as
never
going
in the
back to
chat.
one of the
It's because you slapped him in
folks
the
who called
face.
in, amended to also add a lighted
Yeah.
crosswalk.
Ooh,
I missed that one.
To add a lighted crosswalk.
a lighted crosswalk.
Okay, so we are going to, so this will go to traffic and parking as amended with the report from the Mass DOT and the possible lighted crosswalk.
So,
Okay.
serious question.
That goes
Thanks,
to traffic
Pete.
and parking. How are you
Um,
doing so, Council?
Eric Batista
Through you, Mr.
dresses
Chair, I also
fantastic,
had filed
and he
an
actually
order on
has
the
really
exact
good
same
hair.
thing, and
Good looking dude.
Mass DOT,
He's going to be
did have
sitting
some
opposite
parameters,
Nico,
but, I know
with
that they have
Joe
new
sandwiched
guidelines,
between them.
so
It's
that
just
is-
like a
but,
mustard tie
I know
covered
that,
mess.
the former commissioner,
how does this change
had,
the dynamics of
some
the
statistics
council?
on the dangers of mid-block crosswalks.
Kate
So I
Toomey's
know
not even
that's
going to be able
probably
to
why you
get a
won't
word
write it,
out.
but
She's just
I
going to be
would
too
think
horned
that
up.
if you're going to do a crosswalk there, you would need to have pedestrian flashing lights on the side.
I
So
just want to
think
kiss
that,
you, Nico.
If you don't mind, add a friendly amendment on that. The flashing pedestrian lights, if they were going to be able to do it.
She just
So,
fucking said that,
petition
Kate.
will go
You
to traffic and
absolute
parking, and then
goddamn
we'll go to
dipshit.
the
What do you
city
think she
manager.
meant by a lighted crosswalk?
DOT, okay, and the lights.
Dude, I cannot take Kate Toomey sometimes. That's
All in favor of
unbelievable.
proposal ordered. We have 8D through 8G refer to,
Mr. Chairman, sorry, could I also speak very quickly on AD?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So similarly to 8C, I did a little bit of research, talked to former Councillor Wally, the program director at Head Start, who had favored bringing back the school zone change there. I understand that there's some different requirement and criterion for what it would take for a Head Start facility to implement that. So I'd just like to add an amendment to AD to just understand a report back as to what the history is in regards to previous discussions held at Mill Swan Head Start.
Okay, so we'll send a petition to traffic and parking, and they'll get a report from the manager on the history. And
I love how you can kind of hear
or
Kate Toomey
coordinate the
muttering
two,
into
so
the
when you have
mic.
the hearing, we'll have that. All those
She
in favor
always
of
does that.
proposal
Whenever she
ordered,
gets up to
8E,
make a
F,
point,
and
she sits
G,
back
will
down and
refer
just
to
like goes to the
traffic and
person next to her
parking.
and she's like,
Those
I
in
can't
favor?
believe this. This is
Councilor
unbelievable. I have gout and still I'm
Chairman,
here and no
G,
one
I'd
listens to me.
also ask, besides this being sent to the committee, I asked it to be sent to the administration because I thought there was a four-way sign there. Maybe there isn't.
Okay.
So it might be just one missing.
Oh, you think it's already been approved?
There is.
Okay.
I'm not sure, so I'm
Okay,
saying
so
send
we'll
it
get
to both the committee and the
Okay,
administration.
we'll send that to committee, and we'll get a report back on that,
Yes.
Council Corio, so, and, back, and, from the manager.
Is Kate just
So in
talking
favor
to
of
herself
proposal
now?
Yeah, Kate's just
ordered,
talking. She's just being like, there's one over there. I know there's one over there. There is.
8H and I set a hearing for April 5th,
Oh, boy.
2022 at 6:30 regarding condo location on Main Street and the condo location on Whippoorwill Drive. Now, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Joe Petty trying to say conduit is so
Next,
good.
Carl Rushton request that the city council request the manager look into
Conduit.
providing parking passes for the
For a
persons
condo
within
location. It just sounds like
Hall.
he's saying a condo
At the
location.
federal
Condo
private
location.
parking garage.
Yeah.
We'll send that to the manager. All
We
those in
love
favor,
condos.
so
We
ordered.
love it so much
Cameron
when
zones
real estate
9A to
speculators
9N,
buy up
motions to
triple-decker
adopt.
apartments and turn them into condos.
No, I mean
Yes.
this
Council
this is an
Coyle?
extremely good point made, Self-Mom, but the
So I
issue
would
is
like
that
to speak on 9.
they designed it that way
Yeah.
so that that's all they have to
So we
address.
had
Like
a-
it's
it's about
crazy
the
that
speed
this is
hump
we have to go
program.
through this
We
to
had
get a crosswalk
Very, very good
because
meeting,
they can
our
just
last
do this
parking and traffic
bullshit
meeting.
small
We had
time
several
retail
people
politics and be like, look what I did
I
for
had
you, and that's
several
how fucking
councilors
Donna
there,
Clorio
district
keeps
councilors,
like
to speak
Yeah.
about
getting on this
if they
council.
thought the program was a good program, a bad program, and what we really
Like these
came out
people
was
in the
that
design of
the
our government
people
should
that had
be
concerns
the
about the speed bumps,
policy
that
shapers
was
and the people
sent
deciding the
right
big
into the
picture
city
stuff
council, and
while
he
the city
handled that
manager
very
executes on it.
well.
Meanwhile, it is just the city
But
manager designing
the majority
and
of
executing
people, I'd
on
say
the big picture
80,
stuff while they
90% of them
squabble
were very
about
much
fucking
for the
potholes
speed
and
bump program.
crosswalks.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were really overwhelmed with how much people loved the speed hump program. So one of my recommendations would be that the
If
city
there was
manager
no
would
Come on,
volume
Mo
budget
Bergman.
to this,
Come on, Mo Bergman.
program to 6 per
if there was
district.
no volume right now,
So
you would
I'm
have a hard
saying
time convincing me this
time
wasn't
so
an
the
adult
district
woman
councilors can evaluate if we
talking
it's not
about like the most
happening. We have
tragic
been across
event
the city
that ever
and
happened in her
everywhere.
life,
Sometimes we
like a
see
very
Hi,
traumatic
district
my name is
childhood
Donna.
event.
at their streets because
Hi,
we know
Donna.
that
And I'm addicted to
we've had a
eating
lot of
toilet
requests,
paper.
and I know there's ramifications, different regulations,
I'm
different
addicted
reasons
to
why
speed
you
humping.
can use the speed hump or you can't use it. So I know it'd be good to think about it. If I could ask the city.
No,
manager,
It's
that's
yeah,
okay.
but I, that's I understand that there needs to be some oversight of it, but it's just like when we're like talking about individual crosswalks, that's wild. That like wild.
There are literally engineers working for the city of Worcester at the Department of Public Works, and Kate Toomey is speaking on how roads should be designed.
Yeah.
That's bizarro
Unreal.
world. That doesn't make any
Unreal.
sense.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, so 8A to 8, I mean, sorry, 9A to 9N to, motion is to adopt. All those in favor? Opposed, so
There you go.
ordered. We're
Left
on
hand.
ordered.
Watch
We're
that
on
left
10C.
hand.
Request the Standing Committee on Municipal and Legislative Operations Committee for the discussion regarding pending legislation, including home rule petitions impacting the city. Council King. Send that to Emma.
Yeah, Donna always has a look on her face
This
that
is
she's as
10C
scared of what
regarding
she's going to
Municipal
say
Operations
as
Committee.
we all are.
Yeah, like it could very well be the
We'll
most
send that to Emma.
heinous
All
thing
those in
you've ever
favor?
heard.
Opposed, so
Oh, what
ordered.
am I saying?
We're
Well,
on 10D. You want me to
And
combine
she
all
doesn't
these,
even know if
Commissioner
it is or
Rivera?
not.
Or, do you want just one at a time? B and C? I'm sorry, D and E, okay. Request the manager consider implementing strategies to encourage more city residents, especially women, minoritized people, people with disabilities, and protected veterans to apply for the city's vacancies on boards and commissions.
Still waiting to hear
Request the
back from Ed
manager
on
do
my
as part of
application
the
to 2
such
boards and
strategy
commissions.
workshops within the community that
yeah,
I
I wonder how Eric
vacancies,
Batista would
as
handle
well as
that
the
application. Maybe we
responsibilities
drop this whole
associated
friggin'
with
dinosaur
belonging to-
thing, and maybe we get
to
something
Yeah.
such
going
boards
on
and
here.
commissions.
Yeah, maybe
Request
if you
manager
give me a
consider
really cushy
providing
job in the
extensive
DPW,
training to residents
I'll
receiving
drop this whole thing
teachers
about
appointed
dinosaurs.
to the city's
Nice
boards and
desk
commissions that
job with
include
benefits.
that, but is not limited
Retirement.
to procedures outlined with the Robert Rules of Law.
I know I
Rules
brought
of
this up when I
Procedure
first
for
joined you
law,
folks,
and
but
diverse
I'm
equity,
really not liking
inclusion,
the look
sensitivity
of that
training.
spot on
Councilor
Joe's
Rivera.
forehead there.
Yes.
If
just,
anyone's paying any
really quick,
attention,
I think these
please,
are
I hope
really
somebody's
important, and
keeping
this
an eye
can
on
Is
that.
it
why some of
is
the
it
people
irregular
that we have,
shape?
It is irregular
and we
and
wanna
it's,
be able
I mean,
to
it
kind
looks
of
pretty
really
smooth, but I
encourage
think it's growing.
community conversation, community participation,
gotta-
community
Rassicot,
voices.
We gotta let
look,
him know.
But as we know,
put eyes on
Yeah.
this thing.
sometimes
If his
you know,
if
people
his
aren't
campaign
aware. I know
manager
that
is
there's a lot of
watching,
effort to kind of get out there, get information
maybe
as to
we
what
get that checked
vacancies
out.
are available and how they are. But also, I think a lot of people don't understand.
I'm not above making it a campaign issue
exactly
either.
what these
Yeah.
committees are all
I
about,
mean,
what they
Hillary
entail,
was
what they
was almost
what they-
dead.
what
So
kind, you know, what they
Yeah.
what kind of work they have to do,
And
the
if you
time
believe,
frame,
certain people,
responsibility,
Hillary's
time
been dead
commitment,
for 50 or
what's
60
the
years.
time commitment, what is
Bergen,
and when
chill
we do,
out.
like, what is the
Mo.
So
Stop
I
looking
think
at her
we really
feet.
wanna
Mo
have
Bergman,
this and really
too many
have,
feet pics.
um,
He's looked at too many of Sarai's feet
community
pics.
open.
He
I
needs
think
to
it's
put them
that
away.
we'd love to be able
Yeah.
to see kind of very similar to
Sarai
what we looked at some of the
is
recruitment
a shoe
efforts that
influencer, and Mo
happened with some
Bergman
of
is
the
a shoe
departments,
influenced.
especially, for example, like
Yeah,
the
that's right.
HPD and
That's
some of the
right.
work that they did.
Um,
Doing some of that and
you know what would be
getting
great is
the
if
community, getting,
Kate
like, really promoting,
Kate Toomey gets the wrong idea about us
what the
making fun of
commissions
Sarai
are,
for
what the
posting feet
commission's
pics on
all
Maine,
about, what kind of
and she
work.
just starts
And then
posting
once they
feet
do,
pics
like,
all the
also
time.
sometimes
Like,
it's almost like baptism by
this will
fire. It's
make
like,
them
"Hey,
like
we've already got
me.
in," and then this kind of was inspired because someone who was pitched into being a commission kind of messaged me and said, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna be
Yeah, use your
speed
burner
hump
account, Mo
manager, and
Bergman, if you're
most likely gonna
gonna
get into this commission. Can you give me an
be
idea what
commenting
this
these
is
types of
kind of
things.
about?" And this is a very educated individual that actually holds a, you know, job, a position where of leadership, and still, like, yeah, there's a lot of questions. So I think that also once we get folks in, that we should really think about giving them really some
Okay.
training on like some of the procedures, what to expect. And at the same time, if we're really talking about like DEI work, this is a really important thing. I think as you look at some of these commissions that are making really important decisions for our city, I think it's really important to be able to include all of this into their training as we move forward. So I think that that's, you know, just basically creating, it's almost like, and to some level, how do we have a really robust recruitment, and how do we create a form of an orientation process? I think down the line, I won't add it now, but I think down the line, one of the things that I think would be worth
Spoiler.
having a conversation about, we really want to talk about equity and inclusivity, is really looking at maybe doing some reimbursement for folks, especially young people or folks that a lot of times can participate because they're obligated to have to work 2 or 3 jobs. And so being able
This
to
is a very
maybe
good
have
point.
some sort of a stipend,
Yeah, that's a great
from a
In
certain,
so whoop,
income
last
bracket
bill.
to be able to say, hey, we believe
In
that your time is
my
valuable.
work,
And I know
in
that's not part
my
of the order, but again, I guess
industry,
part of the
they're
inclusivity, your time is valuable. But
trying
I
a
think
lot of
it's,
there's a lot of discussion
and
lately
because of that, we're going to be able to
about
compensate for your participation.
diversity and
So
opportunity
taking a
for
look at that, I think if we
you know
really want to
you know
increase participation from a really
non-privileged
strong
people,
inclusive
because the
community
film
across the
industry is
board,
somewhere that
these are some
benefits
opportunities that
and
exist.
kind of
Thank you.
caters to people that can afford to
Yes, I'd like to sign on to
you know,
this.
fuck around for a long time. And we've had a lot of discussions about it, and people keep asking, like, well, how do we improve our diversity? How do we get these departments to have more diversity in them? And my answer every single time is pay more at the bottom of the ladder, because that's the only way that somebody can take an opportunity.
Get at it.
We work in Brockton right now. We had a kid, Cape Verdean kid, was an incredible PA for us. We loved having him on. We wanted to bring him back for season 2. He can't afford to work on a film set because he can work more money, make more money working in customer service and a call center. So he has to do it. And that's the simplest way. Whenever people talk about all these like different programs and stuff like that, it's just simply pay people more money so that they can afford to try things.
Right, but if you do it, then you'll fix the problem and not invent programs that don't work that you can use to justify the fact you're trying.
Yeah, yeah.
Rose wants to sign on too.
So
I did stab a white person, I will say. So
everybody wants to sign on.
Is that racist? Is that not? Is that anti-racist?
We'll send that to the manager.
That's
you
for
guys
you
see the
all to
Patch
decide.
article today about how the chief diversity officer started off getting paid $60,000, then 70, and then our last chief diversity officer was making $90,000, and the average for a cabinet level position is like $170,000.
Legislative
Pretty good.
Are taking the opportunity.
That's the whole story right there, folks.
Past meeting with really trying to engage a little bit more as
Wild.
councilors and as a
Just
committee,
wild.
our elected officials, our delegation, and as outlined in some of our oversight, this particular item we're going to continue. We started off with Representative O'Day, who's a majority leader in the House of Representatives at the State House, I believe.
Oh,
that
sucking a
he's
bullet. We
most
actually spent a
likely
lot of
the
time
highest
talking about how
ranking,
violence isn't the answer. So
House of Representative.
Yeah, we said that like everyone's required to
and he's the
in
dean
the
of
past couple
delegation.
days. So.
He came in and gave us some information on
We're in the clear.
legislation. And part of our charge in that committee is to really look at matters.
Kind of sucks for violence to call that violence, honestly.
Worcester and regional
yeah.
so we'll be over this term.
I would be embarrassed
calling
if
in
I was
our elected
violent in
officials
the
on
past
the
couple
federal
days.
I think that's why Chris Rock's not that mad. He's like,
yeah,
all right.
Sure, yeah.
Of those developments as relates to Worcester, and I think that
some of my picket signs are very funny
adding
though.
to the dialogue of the council. Thank you.
So
thank you.
I like that we have one accelerationist in the chat.
There's always
important.
one.
I think it's important. Keep us honest.
Infrastructure audit in the Main South TDI district, including the area between Wellington and Allen Street along Main Street, as well as the side streets of that area, up to 1 block, that identifies the feasibility of improving upon the following: replacing and/or installing additional street signage, identifying sidewalks. I'm sorry. Identifying
This is how the left comes together and wins.
Yeah. We're not not on your side sucking a bullet. It's just very aggressive language.
Yeah. You're just obnoxious and I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you.
Philosophically,
yeah.
Philosophically, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
MLK doesn't do anything without Malcolm X. So you're right. Yeah.
But also chill.
No,
They're
you're
talking about
obnoxious.
They're talking about crosswalks.
Yes, I mean, I won't go into. It's all pretty
Oh,
much
hey.
but what I
All
will
right.
say is,
I
you know, I really
guess.
wanna give
It's on
credit
you.
to the community, to the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Has been
yeah.
meeting
How are you
consistently.
gonna feel?
The group from the TDI, the neighborhood group that's met there, the Beacon Brightly. There, you know, you have a very active community
You know,
there
the best part, we're
between,
not even going to ban you. We're just
business
going to make
leaders,
fun of you
Which
and
awesome.
ignore you
um,
eventually.
Just let it happen.
and different
This is how the left comes
organizations as
together,
well.
builds a
And I think
coalition, and
Mhm.
takes back power. This
Yeah.
kind of shit
and I
right
think
here.
that
Yep.
Just by being really normal and approachable and easy to talk to.
Yeah, can we suggest crafty kombucha? Delicious blend of, I don't know, whatever's in kombucha. Probiotics. I think
And go lay in
uh,
your lawn. And lay in your lawn and enjoy some crafty kombucha.
some of the most delicious flavors in the kombucha world. You should check it out. Go to your store. And ask for crafty kombucha by name. If they don't sell it, then say all this shit to them. See how that goes.
Forward and as we're coming to kind of the end of the TDI,
Just don't go to
I
that
would
liquor
say,
store
as
in
we're taking a look at all the great
over in
work that we've
Tatnick
done, this
with all this
audit
nonsense.
would really complement the work, and they're really things that are really necessary. It's not like
This
a
is
luxury.
which one?
And there's been some really great work. I mean, you know, the municipal center there, all the investment that's been done in Castle Park. Without a doubt, I
Is
mean,
it
I know
is it
that
me
this,
hairline? I got
this
okay hairline.
administration and this
Yeah, my hairline's
Yeah,
all right.
very well defined
Yeah.
hairline.
Yeah, even if we're
this,
not,
especially
I
as
don't.
the TDI
Who
comes
cares?
close, comes to be
Here
able
we
to
You know
go.
what? Sucking a bullet should really do if he means it. Is just go to the Worcester police station right now and throw a Molotov cocktail at the front
on
door.
behalf of the resident
For
business
humor.
owners,
For humor.
For humor,
But
parody.
but if
Parody.
but yeah, but
advocating that
talk,
have
talk
been
about it. Be
week
about it.
after week being
Yeah,
committed to this
be about it. Go do that.
planning,
Yeah, not
Log off.
potato.
really caring
Log
about
off. Go do that.
really caring about the neighborhood and saying, you know, can
In
we
a parody
take this
way.
meeting to do this and see what we need to do, and maybe put a plan on. Okay, maybe. we
Oh
could do,
man.
you know, there's some things
God,
in
yeah,
the
that's
basic of
fine.
the
Whatever.
of the process
I don't even know who
Fucking-
you are.
Go ahead.
aspect of the
Yeah.
process.
Broken hearts all around.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
as- you know,
Boo-hoo.
this aspect there.
Got him.
Free up,
So I
free
think
up
if
my
we can
Tuesday
do this
nights. Why
audit,
don't
it
you?
would be really
Yeah.
helpful,
Fucking got him.
and it would really solidify all the work that's been done in regards to the TDI.
Imagine being like an accelerationist anarchist and you're also like, oh, I'm gonna report you.
Telling.
Yeah.
I'm telling Twitch on you.
Violence is the only answer, and the only way to arrest power from the state is through violence. Also, I'm gonna report you for saying something mean on Twitch.
Really take a look at this. because
Oh,
it's
is this Jack?
Thank you.
Is that Jack?
Jokerfied Jack, let's go. Light up the police station, baby.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Everybody.
Chairman. I didn't have an opportunity.
Oh, that's
I know that most of the TDI falls in my district.
Oh, my
and I
God.
didn't have an opportunity though, because I know regardless it affects Councilmember Carson. and
Yeah, Armand is
I
on
have the
vacation,
opportunity to send
baby.
it over.
You got no mods.
No
Well,
way.
Yeah.
Councilman like to sign on too.
Who even knows where Sean is right now?
So
It's
we'll
all
send
good.
that
We're-
to the manager. Those in favor?
we're thriving.
So
Sucking a
ordered.
bullet is totally Sean.
We are on 10.
It is. Yeah.
Request to see in community education.
You forgot to
Joint
email him the invite link, and this is how we react.
for the purpose of reviewing matters pertaining to public education, the public libraries, arts, culture, and higher education listed on their agenda.
That'd be so sick.
As it reads.
Okay. All those in favor? Send to education. I'm going to send that to education. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 10H, request the city manager request city solicitor provide council with an update concerning the city's pending home rule petition relative to the city's school committee redistricting process. Said update should include information regarding the effective passing of the March 21st, 2022 deadline for the drawing of the school committee district lines. Passing has on the process as well as the general process outline.
You must throw your body on the gears of
Complete,
machine
request the city
by
manager request city
reporting a
solicitor
Twitch
provide
stream
and set up
and saying
status,
something
selecting
you
consultant
didn't
and
like.
to aid in the drawing of the school committee district lines. Council King.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I just wanted to hear a bit from the administration in regards to this.
Oh, I
as
think
an
Oh,
we're-
update,
this is the
already
redistricting stuff, right?
and-
I think so.
Subsequent
Yeah.
to that, might have some questions. Counselor Merrill Carlson and Counselor Toomey engaged upon a public hearing process with
Wow.
in concert with
Insidious.
the mayor and the city manager and the clerk to really get this going and just looking for an update a verbal update, and subsequent to that, would like a report back. But to the chair, just like a response to this order.
Mr. Train?
Oh, so polite.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to really up your game, dude. You can't just tell everyone to kill themselves. It's just not funny.
Yeah.
Like, this is 2008 4chan. It is not. We have evolved as shit posters, and I would like you to evolve with us.
Yeah.
We're all adults here. We're past that phase.
Yeah.
Death means nothing to us.
We addressed how we thought this would be a very independent process.
Well, what good would that do me?
Well,
And
I'm
what
really
kind of
glad
money-
you're not trying to be funny.
yeah.
Put Sean's Venmo back up there. Sucking a bullet. We'll start raising money now. And,
Yeah.
Towards the end of February.
I'm not trying to be
Mayor, I
funny.
couldn't tell you where
You're
the month of March is
wow.
going.
Sucking a
good.
bullet. You know what would be really funny is if you Venmo'd me $100. It's Bill-Shaner-1.
Clients.
So, and I would really hate it if you did that.
Firstly, discuss
Yeah.
the process moving forward, and also we're going to discuss coming up with a new
Yeah, or,
timeline
you know,
of getting it.
Sean Courtney, throw him a few bucks.
Thank you. If you could just refresh my memory,
He-
through the chair.
He's
the
he's incredibly
deadlines
online. He's probably
and,
watching right now.
the consequential, I guess.
This is so good. This is so good. Oh, my stream.
Meeting other deadlines, right? So I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure you're more familiar with it. But in terms of the
Those are beautiful.
finalization,
Oh, yeah.
there's additional timelines that we're supposed to meet as well. Is that right, through the chair?
Through the
Oh, wait,
chair.
hold on. I want to hear this. Him
Correct.
answer this
Originally, it
question.
was we would agree upon getting the lines drawn 30 days after the legislation was adopted by the city council. So that actually, not the legislation adopted, but the authorization to file it. We agreed that was really a very tough schedule to keep to. It's still pending at the legislature, the home rule petition. The only consequence, there's no consequence unless we break down our communications and work with each other. So we're still working collaboratively with the plaintiffs and their attorneys. So there's no real repercussion of not meeting the March deadline to get the lines drawn. We're going to address that, as I said, Thursday night.
It's a weird climate to bring up the fact that the home rule petition for the school committee redistricting plan is still pending in the state legislature, which seems kind of weird to me, given how long it's been and how little effort it takes to pass that. But
live there once we get it all in place. If it took that long,
we got bigger fish to fry right now. Kids for bitch.
Thank you.
Kid. Okay. All right.
Just a dork. Just an absolute fucking dork.
Mayor, through the chair to the counselor. So, give you an update on the Board of Election Commissioners' efforts.
It's just
back
like
in
not even
January.
close to funny is the sad
They
thing. It's
voted
like
to have 5
just
public hearings
being so
on
mad, so
the
much vitriol,
13th
just
of
no
March. The
humor.
board, as well as the
No
chair, made a
humor.
motion, that was supported by the rest of the board members
Oh
to actually invite the plaintiffs as well as the independent consultant to the Board of Election Commissioners meetings, so we can at least hear public testimony. So I'm hoping that the board will have a similar support of that process as we get more information from our Thursday meeting.
I'm glad he
Officials
reported us
asked
though,
would
because
be present for the Thursday meeting with the plaintiffs and their representatives as well as their attorneys, just to get an idea of the timeline and so we can
what?
report back to the board. Of
Oh,
Election.
okay. I feel bad making fun of you now.
And I
You're
just think it's
unwell.
important that we keep
Yeah.
abreast of this. I don't need to report on
I mean, it's definitely Jack, but yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, when this came to my attention, and you know, also with the understanding that the election commission, I think they had canceled a number of public hearings. Was that 5 through the chair?
Jose Canseco, you have returned to me.
Because there was no independent consultant selected at that point, as well as the plaintiffs weren't ready to come
Jose
forward.
Canseco, who
to
told
those
you
hearings.
about
That's
Twitch?
why the board made the motion to cancel those hearings.
Thank you. You know, I just think that we need to keep the communication flowing so that we have an understanding, and I appreciate the work of the solicitor.
Also ordered. We are on
What?
communication.
The stream just did a
from
weird
Betty
thing.
Mayer,
That was
we're in
weird.
Communication. Requesting City Council to accept the letter of legislation from Edward M. Augustus Jr. as city manager effective May 31st, 2022. And I'll talk to some of the councils. They like
What's going on with this?
get planned a nice night, a nice tribute at the right time. And I was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one job, Zuckerberg.
And the motion will be to accept Councilman King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not asking for any specifics, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure who this goes to, but I'm sure there must be some terms of separation, Mr. Chairman.
No.
If
We
in
have a.
fact there is. We
It
just
started
need
off
to
funny. Now it's
be
a little
able to
sad,
see
but
that.
Yeah,
we entertained a
There's
troll,
one
and
thing,
now he won't go
that
away.
the council
we
should
messed
be
we messed
aware
up.
of. I know any
See,
discussion that we
the
usually
troll
have regarding
started
contracts
as
matters
like
in executive
having
session,
this
so
sort
if
of
that needs
like
to happen, that's
funny,
fine.
sort of like
I just wanna
accelerationist, like I'm
know,
this like anti-state
what the terms
anarchist
of
bit.
separation
But then
are,
it
Mr.
just
Chairman.
evolved into like
I don't know
some
if that's in
really,
order
really
or what,
dumb
but I just wanna
4chan
make sure that
style.
I'm aware.
Yeah,
Just kind of sad.
Some
yeah.
loser shit.
Yeah, but the accelerationist that was pretty fun. Like
I love the accelerationist. That would be
yeah,
that'd be a good
But-
character to add to the
but then
show.
it really would be. But he really jumped the shark when he was like, "Now I'm going to report you to Twitch for for violations of the terms of service agreement of this capitalist company, which has a terms of service agreement."
Because my contract asks for 30 days.
It's literally the absolute correct context. But
Thank you,
yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
have fun.
I appreciate that.
Unfortunately,
it's as I thought it was, but
Travis
we
is
need to make
away
sure that we're
right now, so
thorough
I can't
and
log
we're
into our
communicating,
Twitch account
effectively to the
to
public.
remove
Thank
this
you so
man.
much.
We
I'm
can't
working on
ban
it.
him. Everyone ignore him.
Yeah.
Motion on a roll call.
Just a
Roll
sad
Council
person.
Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Wait, Ed is saying goodbye.
No. But yes.
Councilor Nian,
I think they're accepting his resignation.
Rivera.
I'd like to break out a YouTube song. But, yeah.
Oh my
Councilor Rose.
God.
Yes.
Fuck, dude. That was such fucking pandering bullshit.
Yes.
Regrettably, yes.
Amir Putty.
These fucking losers.
Yes. Okay. We are on 13A to 13H.
Oh my God! Kate
Oh,
Toomey,
fuck
fucking
off, dude.
dork. Oh my God!
Kate.
Don't do it to Natal.
Don't.
Almost had you.
That would have been nice if they didn't.
Like I said,
That
the
was
council
so
votes on
obnoxious,
the
dude. That was
future.
so
Okay.
fucking
And,
annoying.
Report to the Committee on Municipal Operations, whatever operations.
That was the most cringy shit ever. I need to pull that out.
13A to 13H.
Oh my
Motions to
God.
accept.
They're so
All those in
fucking
favor,
happy with
opposed, so
themselves.
ordered. Reports of Committee on Traffic and Parking, 14A. Motion to accept and adopt. 14B to 14H. Motions to accept. All those in favor? Opposed, so ordered. We're on the table under privilege.
Do we know when the last mayor who actually sat in
City
the
manager
throne was?
contacted Representatives from Eversource to determine the
It has to be
feasibility of
Jordan Levy. I don't know if it is, but it just feels like it
residents
would
of
be.
Main Street detailing the timeline for
Definitely a throne
construction
guy.
on the street, including ample written notification to residents whose backyards the company need to access, as well as how Eversource plans to assist landscape in the excavated areas. Council Hajia?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure what the right thing to do is here.
Yeah, right. Imagine if Sarai played that. And
Any other issues, so maybe it's a file?
You can file, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is to file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. And that brings us to the end of the meeting. And so the motion will be to adjourn. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
That's it. All right.
Okie dokie.
So they're holding
Yeah.
executive session till next week as well?
Yeah, the executive session they're holding too. They would have had to say that if they're going into executive session or not. Yeah, I don't know why they had to accept his resignation tonight. That was strange to me. That read a little bit like forced. And then
Yeah.
Kate Toomey like getting up to like force an applause, like a standing ovation, is just like the most pathetic shit ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week we get to have that conversation. I mean, I confirmed that it was 2 that held the item for the week, but
Was anyone upset by that? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I don't know yet. I'll have
Yeah.
to call around and figure that out. But it's literally just like just a little process thing. There's not much you can do to change anything in a week on this issue. So we're just gonna have to wait another week. Maybe 2 will come out with some sort of statement or something. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had heard if there was any sort of effort on the council to
keep them from doing that.
Yeah, or just change the directory or clarify a process, because that's the one thing that was missing, right? Like,
yeah,
there was no process. I feel like sometimes we memory a hole ourselves there a bit, where it's like we were just started talking about this last week. There hasn't been any conversation at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually that was one of the orders on the agenda. Is Petty asked for report concerning the procedures and timelines followed during 1993, 2004, and 2013 to 14.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to compare with Nicole Apostolo's great breakdown of how it went down in all 3 of those times. And just generally, like it's always with Augustus and with O'Brien before him, it was like a weird power play each time.
Yeah.
That only very barely followed the rules. If there are any rules, barely followed them. And it was just like some cronyism to get their guy in there. And that's how it's been. So it seems like we're gonna keep doing that. But we'll have to wait another week to see that. I mean, that's obviously the biggest news right now. It's kind of like the only news in Worcester right now as far as anything goes politically. And it really seems like they're just trying to hand it to Batista. And it's really funny because Batista does not have a public profile, right? Like, when's the last time you heard him speak at the city council meeting? Like they all just kind of like privately like this guy, but like no, we don't know him like we know at Augustus.
Right.
Yeah.
And it like he could end up having like positively 0 charisma, right? And just like just no one.
And because there's no process in terms of like a vetting, right? Like it's, even if it were somebody from, imagine this, like outside the city of Worcester was hired in the past as a city manager, like you would have public knowledge of their CV, right? Like that.
Yeah, right.
This is just totally blind to everybody who isn't in that room right now.
Yeah, and I don't trust we would even get like, it's kind of like when Netflix says how many streams their movies got, is if the city like says this is what Eric did while he worked here. It's like we have no way of verifying that.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. So. Oh, cool. So they sent him to the broadband meeting to just eat shit, and that'll just be, yeah. So that's what they're going to be voting on next week, is to make him the interim city manager for 9 months.
Yeah, and he will. The assumption is he will stay on after that, regardless of. Process.
City Hall has, and the Worcester Public Schools for the most part have literally never been anything in Worcester besides a job program for the politically connected.
Yeah,
like there's no one is uniquely talented to do any of these jobs, right? they just get them through.
Yeah.
Who they know.
Of course he did.
Yeah, that was a really, really cringy article. That was exceptionally cringy.
And to the point about, some mentioning having an MBA, to be clear too, like literally not discounting the guy at all. It's just pointing out that the process sucks. Like, you could convince me that Eric Batista is the only person in the universe for this job. You'd have to convince me of that, and that shouldn't be so hard if he is.
Yeah, and you'd have to make some sort of effort or overture to convince me, right? Like, why? It's so undemocratic the way they're doing this,
right?
And it worked sort of for Augustus because he had a public profile. He was a state senator. He worked at Holy Cross. He was a politically known person. This does not work the same way for somebody who has like no public profile outside of City Hall.
Right.
It's gonna very much look like they're transparently just installing their guy.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But fucking business as usual in Worcester.
Yeah. It's, that's just how it's going to be. And again, I think that's why we need to use accelerationist dialogue. And
yeah, that's why we need to not ban really annoying trolls.
It's that. I mean, that's as soon as I can log into our account, then he will be banned. Don't worry,
Yeah.
will not be back. What a dork.
But yeah, so other than that, nothing really happened. Nothing happened tonight.
Yeah, it was kind of a nothing overall meeting. I mean, we got a lot of talk about crosswalks, which I think is important to.
It's
make
very,
sure
very, very important that
most of the meeting is about one specific crosswalk.
Right. Like your highest executive authority of city government should definitely be spending an hour every week dealing with a one crosswalk in the city and whether or not it should be painted. I mean, I think that's really the best use of everyone's time. You got to make sure that like really the only meaningful way that there's democratic involvement in the machinations of City Hall, we're just talking about crosswalks for an hour. Yeah. It's kind of it's the best use of our time. It's the best use of the authority of the city council. And I am, you know what, if these people don't get their crosswalk, I'm just going to be outraged. I'm definitely going to think about it more than once after tonight. It's definitely going to be on my mind. It's definitely going to be a great injustice if I don't get their crosswalk across a 5-lane highway that people shouldn't be walking across anyway. It's just, we really need it.
That'll be fun.
As he's out there, he's got like a hard hat on.
Well, I mean,
some guy at the TPW is like, "This is the first day of the rest of your life, bitch."
Well, I think that's a perfectly fine place to leave it for tonight. Remember to not be a piece of shit on the internet for no reason. Number one.
Yeah, try
at
least. Just
thank
try
you
at least.
so much for joining us tonight, everybody. This is overall, I think, a fantastic amount of discourse and level of discourse.
We really got
for
somewhere
sure.
today. We got somewhere today.
Totally. Remember
now the
to-
ballerinas from Charlotte Klein will also get somewhere.
You must remember to subscribe to Bill Shaner's Substack, billshaner.substack.com. Worcester sucks,
Thank
and
you,
I
thank
love it.
you.
Some incredible work going on there, and of course the podcast Worcester's Good But Hurts. Please do check it out. We implore you to do that. In fact, 508, a show about Worcester, huh?
Sometimes
it's happening.
Huh?
Every once in a while, we're gonna
every once in a while
try and make it more common. Check it out, everybody. You guys can check out my podcast, Parts Unknown, a podcast about wrestling. This week, the guests were Rick Canavan, a hilarious comedian who's got a new album out, and Sean Connolly. He was on there. We had a great time talking about WrestleMania, which is coming up this week. We might try and do something on Twitch this weekend before night one of WrestleMania 38. So it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully Monday nights, now that there's nothing going on in the city on Monday nights, we're gonna get Seltzer Time streams going here on the Twitch. But please follow their Patreon. Travis needs the money so he can do more vacations, and then they would be working vacations so we can get him to ban people. We desperately need him online.
Yeah.
Craft tea kombucha, everybody, the only ethical consumption under capitalism. Get it wherever fine products are sold. Our wonderful sponsors. Thank you so much, Matt. We love having you. We love Craft Tea so much. And just again, throw a few bucks to Sean Courtney. Nick's is the greatest bar that I've ever been to, and it was our home for 5 years, and we're gonna miss it very much. And I have no idea what we're gonna do next, but we're gonna figure something out. But we really do want you to support Sean wherever he ends up. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
for now, do that. So thank you so much, everybody, for sticking together in the comments tonight. This is a fun, weird little family we got going here, and we love to join you guys. So please tune in next week. We'll be back for what is sure to be a fascinating meeting. We will see you next Tuesday, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great night.